Is the same for Twitter as well? There is also something like that within Twitter?
Yes.
Okay. Well, think about that. I mean, I just wanted to start with this, because this is really related to what you have.
I need to do. No.
Also, are you familiar with this? I don't know.
The pitch there. Yeah.
Is it?
Excuse me. How do you get the pitch motion or tilt motion?
Oh,
Is it this?
okay.
I don't want to break it.
Yeah.
No, not that one. Actually, you should have done this. It's much better.
Nice.
Great. So,
I guess.
do you have? I don't know if you have it for Facebook as well. Like there is this application for LinkedIn that you can visualize your network. Okay, so it will work, and we will come back to this. But the thing is that I was trying to make a point about is that in all of these networks these days, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you have kind of a base that they're trying to. I think they want you to get connected, get more connected. I don't know. It's for their benefit. I don't know how they're benefiting from it. But they like you to know, to link to everybody that you know in real life. So to do that, they're giving you some suggestions that these people you may know. So some of them are really easy. Let's look at this one, for example. And he says that I may know this person.
And there is an interesting property of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Now this person knows that you.
Yeah. Okay. He can see that he has only one person. Strange. Let me see. Okay, this guy goes. All right. Well, I know this guy, and the reason that probably, think about it, how you would be writing an algorithm which is telling me that which people that I might know. One way of doing that is taking a look at this. The people that we both know together. Like, I am connected with Christian Maras, David Montague, Greg Nagler, Martin Bolan, Giovanni Scaglia, and there are 5 more others that I know I'm linked with. And Eric also is linked with as well. Okay, so this was a property that the sociologists started to get interested. So, where's my presentation? Here it is. So, that is it. So, they talk about basically within people, I don't know, I also use Google Plus. But I think this is also available in Facebook too. That is there any non-Facebook users? Like everybody use Facebook? I don't use Facebook. Who else doesn't use Facebook? Okay, there's only 4 of us. I do use Google Plus, and within Google Plus there is a feature. I don't know anything about Facebook, so that you're able to classify the people that you know, because if I want to publish something like a photo or something I want to share, I can choose people, like I can choose my family, I can choose people that I really, my friends. And there's another one that I keep, for example, not really my friends, like people that I know, my acquaintances, you may call. And of course, the people that you are linked into, they don't know about that. That's the good part. If they were to know, oh, he's considering me only not as a friend, but also only an acquaintance, so that would be not good, not really. I don't want them to know about that. So these, of course, they started to understand, the sociologists started to understand about, they're of course smart people, like in many years ago, 50s, 60s, they know about this. Everybody knows about that too. Even before the computers, they know that some people we have some strong ties, and with some people we have weak ties. We are not really, we know each other, we say hello, and that's all. We don't talk too much. And they started to realize that if there are two people that I know I have very strong ties with, and they say that the big probability is that these two people would have a strong tie or a weak tie, at least. That they are most probably knowing each other. So this is not a rule as in mathematics, but this is, as I said, it is a probability that when I have two people and they are my very good friends, I know them, they have very good, strong ties, they are probably knowing each other as well. So they called this, they gave this a name, and they said it is a strong triadic closure, and well, it is kind of a rule that they come up with. It is not necessarily true. I don't know what you feel about that. You may find some cases that it is not true, but you may also think because there had been some investigations afterwards, because at that time when they were first started to think about that, there was no recording. They were doing it by hand, interviewing people and asking them some questions, and then recording them and try to come up with, try to validate if this rule is applying or not. But these days it's much easy because you have everything is recorded, like in Facebook, like in LinkedIn, everything is recorded. So we know all about that. So we can really check with our computers, very quick programming, and we can test this, right? So the testing says, well, it's more or less it's applying. So it's a good rule. So what it says that in most of the cases, this one is only talking about what the violation of the strong triadic closure, and there is only one case that it will violate is if I know two people, I have strong ties with those two people, all right? So, but these two people don't know each other at all. So that is where it violates. If they have a strong tie or a weak tie, then they know, then the strong triadic closure is okay. It is not being violated. So that's an interesting thing to say, but that's kind of important. The one thing that how it becomes interesting is the study that they made in 1973, I guess it was. This is one very famous paper by, I forgot the name of the guy, but the surname is Rana. I don't remember the name really. I always refer to him. Do you know the name?
Yeah, it's in chapter 3, Mark.
Mark, yeah. I always miss the name.
Because you don't have any strong ties with the guys that you get
We just shook hands and that's all. He's not a good guy, actually. No, I don't know him. So, guy finds out, he looks into the, he interviews the people, and he asks, how did they find the current job that they're into? With what kind of a relationship they found that job. And he found out that for all the people, the best way to find a job is to find it through weak ties, not through your strong ties. So most of the people that he was talking to, they found the job that they're currently in with their weak ties. That means that, you know, people they are not really very strong friends, but the weak ties that, you know, they're either a friend of a friend, so that they have a weak tie, they're just barely know each other. But since there is one person in the middle that are, you know, like a friend of my very good friend, so that type of relationship brings them the next job. So this is known as the strength of the weak ties. So my example would be, I can give you an example. I don't know if you ever tested this. I don't know if you will be sharing the same feeling with me, but I believe in this. Really, this is true. In one situation, my sister's house was broken in. The burglar came in and took the stuff, and of course, in this part of the world, I would say that we were looking immediately for some people that would help us with this. We immediately start to search, like, is there a policeman that we know that can really help us with, to find the missing things that they steal from the house? Because normally what we think about, if I find somebody that I know, or somebody that not directly that I know, but a friend of a friend, then maybe the police would be more eager to find the missing stuff, right? But nobody really knows any policeman. I don't know, do you know any policeman in your life? You do? Your uncle is policeman, that's fine, but we don't. So how can you find the policeman? And everybody starts asking. You don't, we have no strong ties with the policeman, we don't really know them. It's only the weak ties that would lead us to the policeman. That, a friend of a friend knows a policeman. So that's what you're looking for. And that's when it gets really useful, because the people that are really useful is going to be the ones that you don't already have. Because your current network, the people you already know, you all share the same information. And what is going to be valuable for you is the missing information that you don't have access to immediately. When your uncle is a policeman, when something like that happens, well, everybody in the family will be immediately, what is his name? Resul will help us, so why to think about? You don't even need to search or think about it. It's just, we call Resul and he will handle it. He's the policeman. But in our case, we have to search for it. It is the weak tie. It was turned out that my mother knows a policeman. Not directly, but one of the ladies that he was having tea with, his brother is a policeman. So this is how it works. When you are, for example, looking for a job, your immediate circle, it looks like that since you're searching for it, if it is not really immediately available, so most of the time it is not really immediately available, it is not coming from your immediate network, because if that would be the case, you would really know about it like that. You're searching for it, and jobs are, by nature, is not really quickly found. But when you quit the job or when you start searching for a job, you cannot immediately find it. what happens is that you start the search, and it is not really the people that you immediately know going to be helping you. It is like one where, like, when you look at the circles, it is not your immediate circle. It is the circle just above that one first circle. It is just the second tier or third tier of people that you will be trying to find them. Okay. So this was the idea, and they found out that, and later they did some studies with with the networks that we know, like in Facebook. I believe they did a study about that, and they validated that it is really true that the weak ties that we have is more important, is really important for searching or finding what we're looking for, like a job or like a policeman. So this is again from the book that, you know, probably you downloaded all the chapters, did you? I don't know. You can download it, so since it is free, why don't you download it and take a look at it. This is from the book, chapter 3. And when you look at this, so you start to understand the importance of the weak ties. For example, between A and B, if I break this link between A and B, now they have, the path between A and B is 1, right? If I break it, it will become how much? 4, isn't it? So, in general, what we say that if the link is, becoming, when you break it, if the new link now becomes more than 2, like 3, 4, 5, 6, the path from A to B is normally 1, of course, and I break it. And now, if it is more than 2 steps, then it is, we call it, it's a bridge. There was a bridge, then I broke it, and now it takes more time to find it. So this is an important edge, I would say, isn't it? Because it has a big value. Like, for example, my mother, if she was not having tea with that lady, and that lady is not really a good, very strong Thai, he's coming from a family that has some policemen, in the family, and it's a different group of people that we don't normally know. If she was not having tea with that lady, then it would take us a lot of steps in order to find somebody who has a family member that is a policeman. So that link is important, because once it is broken, I'm not having a quick connection to the policeman that I need to find a policeman. All right. So that's kind of important. This link is important, I would say. Do you agree with that? So we call this a bridge. And the rule, the triadic, strong triadic closure tells us that if I have some strong ties, then at least I have to have a weak tie.
I'm gonna go for it first.
Yeah, somebody has to take him down. If I have 2 strong ties between 2 people, then my rule says they should have at least a weak tie. If there is no tie between these 2 people, then this is against my rule, I would say. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's against my rule. Okay? First of all, this one. Let's take a look at this now. These are all I don't know, I record it, and these people have, I know, like some of them have strong ties and some of them have weak ties. And is there anything here that violates my rule? This is what I'm trying to look at, all right? I look at all of them if there is something that breaks my rule. It doesn't. So for example, I have some strong ties between these two, and there's a weak tie in between, so that's okay. But if there is no tie here, then that would break my rule. So let's look at the ones that have no, for example, this one here, it has a weak tie. That's all right, because there are no strong ties that would require me that would require me to have a link.
Would there be any laws like, for instance, there are some loops over there, like starting from A, B, H, G, and F. It's like closing down, so it's a closed loop.
No.
Then, would there be a rule, for instance, so that there will be equal number of weak and strong ties? Like when I walk on this loop now, I have weak, 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 strong, and weak.
Yeah.
What would happen, if, for instance, if A and B is strong right now? It still doesn't hurt anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Before that, I want to talk about, there is something that I want to talk about, but I'm trying to get to there a little bit
Okay.
Step by step, not to hurt too much. And that is something called, it is something called about the bridges. That there is something funny about bridges, that bridges has to be, it turns out that the bridges has to be weak. All the bridges are weak ties. Because if they are strong ties, then it's a contradiction with my triadic closure. This is what I want to talk about. That this bridge, for example, if it was going to be a strong tie, then it was not going to be a bridge anymore, because then I would have a strong tie here, a strong tie here, then there has to be at least a weak tie in here, right? So then it is no longer a bridge, because the bridge.
It's always if I have two strong ties with some unknown guys, and they.
No, it is not always the case. You're right. I mean, this is not the rule that says all the social interactions has to be like that. It doesn't say that. I mean,
this is perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect question, perfect answer to me, because when I first read that sentence, I was thinking as if it is the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Are you guys familiar with the zeroth law of thermodynamics? It's basically you have a cup of tea, and it's a temperature of some degree, and you're bringing this tea into a medium whose temperature is lower than that. Then it's a matter of time that those temperatures are going to be equal. So, in an abstract way of saying it, if there are two systems in contact, in the equilibrium, their temperatures got to be equal. So this is the zeroth law of thermodynamics. So it's like, if you know that guy, and if you know that guy, it's just a matter of time that there got to be an acquaintance with the two that you know. But in addition to, you see, I have not specified whether the guy that I know and the other guy that I know, I have a strong tie. I have some connections with them. No, but Kutsi is saying, Kutsi giving a little bit more emphasis on this. If I have a strong tie with someone and another guy, like myself is A, and those two guys are 1 and 2. If I have A1 and A2, and if they are strong, then Kutsi says, it's a matter of time that there got to be a 1-2 connection. And then 1-2 connection can be strong or weak, but there got to be a connection over there. But Now the question is whether this is like the zeroth law of thermodynamics in every possible closed detectable lab conditions, like in nature. This thing is going to take place. Now with this question, I forgot your name.
Said.
Yeah, Said. With the
Vessel's
Said.
nephew.
Yeah.
Vessel's nephew.
With this comment and your answer, now I realize that this is not a law. It is not a principle. It is like, it's a regularity. This is interesting. Even in the natural sciences, we observe the things. We observe them in so many ways, in so many times, so many frequently, in so much frequency. So and we call this regularity a law. But now what Kutsi is talking about, and this textbook of ours is talking about, they have observed throughout the years, with the help of giving hand of sociologists, there's a strong regularity. And then, if A knows E, and if A knows B, now Kutsi is saying, if A-B connection had been S, then he says there would have been a diagonal connection of E and B over there. And now we do not observe E and B connection because A-B connection is weak. This is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And in as much as they are strong and that regularity says that there got to be an E and B connection, then you will not call A-B connection as a bridge.
Or let me put it this way, that again, with my example, with my mother knows somebody, who's a policeman. That's a valuable thing because you're looking for, let's assume that, I don't know if it is a hard example or a good example or not, but we were looking for a policeman. So the process of looking for a policeman is like, that means that we don't have it. So it can be anything else. We would be looking for a plumber, but a plumber that we know that we can really trust. Or we will be looking for a dentist because I'm very sensitive to dentists and they have to be, good-natured. I'm scared. So I want a dentist that I know, that I can trust. So the very nature of that you are not finding it, that means that it is not immediately available in your network. A policeman was not immediately available for our network, so that was the reason that we were looking for it.
So this means that your first contacts or primary contacts,
That we don't have it.
you call those your first contacts or primary contacts to be yourself. You're
Yeah.
saying that I exist, I am with my contacts. They are with me. So you
No,
mean
we
this?
don't.
Can I have a second neighbor contact can be also strong? Like I know you, and you know someone else is strong. Then it is also possible that there will be a strong connection. So each strong connection cannot be a first nearest neighbor, right? It doesn't have to
No.
be that way.
If I have, for example, strong connections all the way, like I have a strong connection with you and you have a strong connection with him, and I'm looking for someone, like a dentist. So what I immediately do, if you're looking for a dentist, or if you start to look for a policeman in our case, you start to call people. You start to call your strong neighbors, like all the people that you really know, and you call them and you say, do you know a policeman? And in the real world, most of the times that, of course you have a strong connection. So it turns out that I already know you as well. So it is not in the vicinity, that it is not going to be coming from a strong tie. It is most probably going to come from a weak tie, that information. I mean, let's think about in this map, that I'm living in this world over here, and there's this world over there, and maybe this person is a policeman. I'm looking for a policeman. And all the people in my vicinity, they have no access to that guy. And I cannot really go for all this, upper part and come and find this